is it does look like President Trump is blamed. It looks like he doesn't want the price of iPhones going up going into Christmas. And the Chinese are going to read this as a key weakness of a president that has stood up to them, but every time it makes the stock market go down a few hundred points, or it might have consumer groups pushing on him saying they don't need prices, they don't want prices to go up going into Christmas, he backs away. So it seems to me like it's fairly easily read when you look at the 122 pages.
Kyle, as you're talking, the president making comments on that exact topic at the Bedminster Airport. Take a listen.
It continues to do very well. We have very, very strong numbers. We have a lot of artificial numbers from other countries because they're all devaluing their currencies. They're really doing things that aren't very good for their countries, in my opinion, but short term it's very good for their countries, long term possibly not. And we're not following suit. We have said that the guy's not going to cut interest rates, which is a very bad thing. But right now we have to follow suit. We should be following suit. And we have a very powerful country, a very strong economic and military country. We've never been better. The stock market is way up today for various reasons, including tariffs. I just see where we've collected close to $59 billion in tariffs so far. And in my opinion, the consumer has not paid for it because of the devaluation by China. They devalued and they pumped a lot of money into their system. So it's really been an amazing, period of time. Only to help, I think, a lot of different groups of people. And we had a very good talk yesterday with China, a very, very productive call. I think they want to do something. I think they'd like to do something dramatic. I was not sure whether or not they wanted to wait until a Democrat has a chance to get in. Hopefully that's not going to happen because the economy would go to hell in a handbasket very fast. But they really would like to make a deal. The call itself was very productive. I'm not sure if it was the tariffs or the call, but the call was very productive. Again, they've said this many times. They said they're going to buy farm products. So far, they've disappointed me with the truth. They haven't been truthful, or let's say they've certainly delayed the decision. But it's their intention to buy a lot of farm products. And we had a very good call with China. I mean, they would really like to do it. You know, they have a problem in Hong Kong, but they would like very much to do something. If there's even domain of even further taxes ever been, we're doing this for Christmas season, just in case some of the tariffs would have an impact on U.S. customers, which so far they've had virtually none. The only impact has been that we've collected almost $60 billion from China, compliments of China. But just in case they might have an impact on people, what we've done is we've delayed it so that they won't be relevant for the Christmas shopping season. Yeah, he's a very highly respected conservative pundit. He's a big Trump fan. That was a retweet. That wasn't from me. That was from him. But he's a man who has 500,000 followers, a lot of followers, and he's respected. And as you know, Bill Barr wants to do an entire investigation of the whole Epstein matter. What happened? He's been going on for a long time. The whole Epstein episode. And I know it's under investigation by Attorney General Barr, and I'm sure he's going to be handling it. The retweet, which is what it was, is the retweet, was from somebody that's a very respected conservative pundit. So I think I was fucked up. No, basically what we're saying is we want an investigation. I want a full investigation. And that's what I absolutely am demanding. That's what our Attorney General, our great Attorney General, is doing. He's doing a full investigation. Well, the Hong Kong thing is a very tough situation. Very tough. We'll see what happens, but I'm sure it'll work out. I hope it works out for everybody, including China, by the way. I hope it works out for everybody. tricky situation. I think it'll work out, and I hope it works out for liberty. I hope it works out for everybody, including China. I hope it works out peacefully. I hope nobody gets hurt. I hope nobody gets killed.
Are you more optimistic now that there's a chance of getting a deal between China and one trade?
Well, I've always been optimistic. My only question is whether or not they were willing to wait and take the chance on winning the election and deal with somebody who's weak and ineffective and doesn't know what he's doing or she's doing, like they've had in the past. This should have been done 25 years ago, should have been done 10 years ago, or 5 years ago. This should have been done a long time ago. This should have been done by Biden and Obama. China is taking out $500 billion a year and much more than that if you include the theft of intellectual property. What I'm doing now should have been done many years ago.
Telling today that an NPR, maybe there ought to be a different poem on the Statue of Liberty that says immigrants want to stand up for themselves and take care of themselves. Do you think that should be changed?
Well, I don't think it's fair to have the American taxpayer, you know, it's about America first. I don't think it's fair to have the American taxpayer paying for people to come into the United States. So what we've done is institute what took place many, many years ago at our founding virtually. But we are just reinstituting it, and I think it's long overdue. I am tired of seeing our taxpayers paying for people to come into the country and immediately go on to welfare and various other things.
Amen.
So I think we're doing it right. I think that what Rich Cuomo did was horrible. His language was horrible. He looked like a total out-of-control animal. He lost it. And frankly, I don't think anybody should defend him because he steals lives every night. So I don't know why anybody would defend him. But Chris Cuomo was out of control. I watched it. I thought it was terrible. So I don't know who's defending him. Maybe they didn't see it. Maybe they haven't gotten a full picture. But I think anybody that would have seen Chris Cuomo would have said that was a disgrace. You've never seen me do that. Well, I think Chris Cuomo was so out of control that I would not have wanted to see a weapon in his hand. I guess his fist is not a weapon. Or he would have done something. You know, he talked about it, but he didn't do anything. But I think Chris Cuomo was very much out of control, actually. Well, Anthony was a guy who worked for me who really didn't have a clue. He worked for 11 days. He made terrible statements and gestures and everything to people that worked in the office. I think you've heard Mercedes Schlapp talk about it in great detail. Anthony didn't support me at the beginning. He was with somebody else. And then he went to somebody else. And he only supported me after it was a foregone conclusion that I was going to win. I'm not a fan of Anthony. I haven't been for a long time. I think Anthony is really somebody that's very much out of control. And he doesn't have what it takes. I mean, he really doesn't. He wanted to come back into the administration for the last 5 months, begging me to come back in. I said, Anthony, I can't take you in. I'm sorry. He called so much. He's a nervous, neurotic wreck. He called so much. And I said, Anthony, I'm sorry. I can't do that. I can't take you in. And I said, you got to stop all these phone calls. Too many calls, Anthony. And I wouldn't take his call. And lo and behold, now he feels differently. But Anthony is upset because he wanted certain things. The main thing he wanted was to come back into the administration. And as you remember better than I do, he was a disaster for the 11 days.
Listen, the country you're going to say, is going to make plastic. You must be aware of all the folks in the world that are washing plastic and they're not doing any more plastic. What's your view?
Oh, we have tremendous plastics coming over from Asia, from China, and various others. It's not our plastic. It's plastic that's floating over in the ocean and the various oceans from other places. Now, plastics are fine. You have to know what to do with them. But other countries are not taking care of their plastic use, and they haven't for a long time.
Amen.
The plastic that we're getting is floating across the ocean from other places, including China.
Right.
Background check. Do you think that Mitch McConnell is going to put that up for a vote?
I am convinced that Mitch wants to do something. I've spoken to Mitch McConnell. He's a good man. He wants to do something. He wants to do it, I think, very strongly. He wants to do background checks, and I do too, and I think a lot of Republicans do. I don't know, frankly, that the Democrats will get us there, but I spoke with Chris Murphy, the senator. We had a very good conversation. We'll see what happens. But I believe that Mitch, and I can tell you from my standpoint, I would like to see meaningful background checks, and I think something will happen. Look, it's very simple. There's nobody more pro-Second Amendment than Donald Trump. But I don't want guns in the hands of a lunatic or a maniac. And I think if we do proper background checks, we can prevent that.
Right.
Do you really think the Clintons are involved in Jeffrey Epstein's death?
I have no idea. I know he was on his plane 27 times, and he said he was on the plane 4 times. But when they checked the plane log, Bill Clinton, who was a very good friend of Epstein, he was on the plane about 27 or 28 times. So why did he say 4 times? And then the question you have to ask is, did Bill Clinton go to the island? Because Epstein had an island. That was not a good place, as I understand it, and I was never there. So you have to ask, did Bill Clinton go to the island? That's the question. If you find that out, you're going to know a lot.
I was told that Bill Clinton went to the island quite frequently because of Bill Clinton being overly sexed in his personal affairs too as well. Now, that's hearsay. That's gossip. I don't know if that's factual or not. But Donald Trump may be onto something pertaining to pointing his finger at the Clinton administration pertaining to Osteen, the rich guy's premature death that suddenly escalated in his own personal jail cell. I don't know. These are all hypotheticals. He's got it. There's the President of the United States walking off, getting onto his flight, going I don't know for sure where, but he touched off on some very, very strong issues, especially the issue with China and the tariffs, with the Christmas holidays coming up. He touched off on 2 or 3 other matters pertaining to the stock market right now increasing. They got their eye on the ball, and they are trying to accomplish things that should have been addressed 2 or 3, maybe even 4 administrations ago that this government laxed in. I repeat, that this United States government laxed in. And now, Donald Trump, being the bad news barrier, is now bringing it all to the surface. Once more, good luck to my viewers, and shalom. And good luck to all of us.
All right, welcome to the Halftime Report. Our breaking news continues now. That was the president in Bedminster, New Jersey there, speaking on a wide array of topics, including those delayed tariffs on China, which caused the stock market to do what it is doing there on the right-hand side of your screen, off the best levels of the day. But nonetheless, it is a strong day for stocks. Let's go through some of the headlines there. The president speaking about that call with China, saying it was very productive. Also saying that he agreed to delay those tariffs because he didn't want to hurt the holiday shopping season, that he did it to help different groups of people, he said, to avoid the consumer impact, which is interesting. That sort of flies in the face of the narrative that the White House has been projecting in recent weeks and months, that the consumer here in the United States wasn't being impacted at all from the tariffs, that the consumer here, the U.S. taxpayers, the administration has said wasn't paying at all. Clearly, as we pointed out on numerous occasions, that is just not the case. in some instances, and the president saying today that one of the chief reasons why they delayed these tariffs until mid-December was because of the holiday shopping season. Let's also hit the comments that the president had on Hong Kong, because that remains very much part of the story today, as those protests certainly heating up at the airport in Hong Kong. The president saying that he hopes nobody gets hurt, he hopes nobody gets killed. That situation escalating. One of the busiest airports in the world, numerous flights canceled yesterday. Another developing situation there today, the escalation of tensions between the riot police and the protesters there. So we're keeping our eye on both of those stories. And let me just let you know as well, the president, that towards the end there, speaking about the possibility of increased gun control measures, saying that the Senate Majority Leader, Mitch McConnell, quote, wants to do something. Those are the headlines that really relate to all that we cover, certainly the tariffs and what's going on in Hong Kong, which have not had a dramatic effect on the trading of stocks today, but the tariffs certainly have. And this news that the administration, after a call with China described as very productive, will delay some, although when you get down into the details, it maybe isn't the story that we thought all the way through, especially if you look at a stock in an intraday chart. If we could throw you, for example, like Apple, which was surging on the news by at least $10, backed off a bit as it's now becoming clear perhaps what exactly we're talking about in the kinds of products that will be subject to those additional tariffs. And you can see Apple coming off the best levels as it appears as though things like the Apple Watch, AirPods, the HomePod may still be subject to those tariffs on September the 1st. We're going to cover that. We're going to cover all of the movement in the market today because it affects all of your money, of course, and there's a lot to talk about. We'll do it today with our investment committee here. John Najarian's here, Michael Farr, Josh Brown, Stephanie Link, and Joe Terranova. All right. So, John, we sort of set the scene for everybody. It was this headline about the delay in tariffs that sent stocks off to the races. And as we pointed out, almost every day, if not every week,
Right.
you're always one tweet or one headline away from a market reaction. And it's hard to get your arms around what to do in that environment.
True, very true, Scott. And I think what's going on right now is that the administration's giving China a little wiggle room here, because China's hand is pretty close to being forced in Hong Kong. Now, they don't want to make that move for all the reasons we know. They would lose their status if indeed they went in there and really harshly put down these protesters. So hopefully they can get this thing under control. But Xi Jinping is under extreme pressure because he's got the trade negotiations on the one hand, Scott, then he's got Hong Kong, and then obviously in the back of his mind, Taiwan. Because if you do Hong Kong, then something's going on with Taiwan almost immediately. So that's a lot of pressure. I think this kind of eases a little of the pressure because he's taking the pressure off on the trade front side, and hopefully Xi Jinping then can deal with Ms. Lam and what's going on in Hong Kong.
So, Josh, no tariffs, or at least delayed tariffs for some products from September the 1st until mid-December. Not to make a broad political comment, but the reality of you're always one tweet away or one headline away. You're trying to manage money for people.
Yeah.
Put me into that environment.
Well, so the only way to win this game is not to play, as I've said repeatedly, because of exactly what you described and what we're seeing on our screens in front of us.
Hong Kong, that the sympathy will be more with the government than with those who are seen as somehow disrupting China's economy and hurting China's reputation in the world. But this is potentially much bigger than Tiananmen, given the numbers involved. It's not just students. It's not as dangerous as
up that pedestrian bridge there to the outside. And I just can't stress enough how bizarre and surreal all of this is, John. So you have an injured individual. I definitely saw some of the protesters dressed in black kicking this man while he was on the ground, and a real tussle amid the demonstrators whether or not to provide him first aid. And all of this taking place in this incredibly busy airport. Look at what's happened here. In addition to the demonstrators here, they have wallpapered this place with their kind of slogans calling out their allegations of police brutality. And what they've succeeded in doing is bringing this entire airport to a halt for the second evening in a row. And I've got to be honest, you know, these demonstrators say they're fighting for justice, they're fighting for a peaceful democratic future for their city, a former British colony. But the scenes we saw today, very ugly, and will not help them in the eyes of many Hong Kongers who view them with extreme distrust. John.
And to that point, just the decision to paralyze such a major economic piece of Hong Kong, this busy airport, was an escalation out of frustration by the protesters who did not believe their demands were being listened to.
Once more, I want to break in real quick towards telling my viewers I felt like that you needed to see a little bit more of what was actually going on in global world affairs. That this is all the fulfillment of biblical Bible prophecy, as Jesus said that in the last days nation would rise against nation, and that there would be commotions, and that there would be unrest, civil unrest all over the planet. And if we're not seeing it in China, we're seeing it in Russia. If we're not seeing it in Russia, we're seeing it in places down in South America and Mexico. If we're not seeing it there, we're seeing it in other parts of the world towards people standing up for a free, fair, open election democracy such as we have here, towards being able to vote in and out various politicians that are not doing their jobs. Thank you to my viewers. Good luck to all of us, and shalom. God bless.